Alright, g'day there. Richard Musgrave-Evans here again and welcome back. Now today, I'm back in the other studio, got a big stretch canvas, tons of oil paint, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using a little study that I did on Plein Air out in the field. Little study, and basically it'll be the first rays of sunlight striking the hills and what they call the belt of Venus, which is those belts of colours that you get when the sun is just around dawn, sunrise and sunset, and it creates, that's the shadow of the earth, and it creates all these beautiful colours. So I'll be doing that, but on a larger scale, and add a bit of extra stuff. Should be a bit of fun. All right, let's get into it. Into it, rightio. Now, I've just put a few lines, as you can see already, just to get the feel of the composition. So pretty much that's an enlarged version of the Plein Air study in the composition itself. Now, just going to start getting into it. All right, now I'll go for a bit of cobalt blue today and titanium white. Let's just mix that up. How much we got to do today? All right. Plenty of colour. Mix them up, mix. That could be about the right intensity and the right amount of white. Let me just have a look. Just a little bit more white it needs. I was just matching the tone then, or the value, to the actual little Plein Air one that's sitting there. Just check to see that we're recording. Good, we are. Just one shade lighter. Alright, let me just see what I've got. Let's put this on. There. Not bad. Just apply that one, that seems to be about right, what we want. So I've got the knife upside down here. I find that's the easiest way to get into that, to do that draftsmanship. Alright, got that happening. Now what happens here? I reckon I'll go down here, then along this way like so. Getting there. Alright, so we've got pretty much what we want there, I think. Let's have a look. So it's just a little bit of blue. Like I said, we're doing the belts of Venus, so what we've got is got a little bit of a shadow of the earth in there, where the sun can't quite hit, something along those lines anyway. Alright, next we'll get into the next layer. I might just go up a little bit higher. That blue will be great for the great contrast of the sun just striking the hills. The blue is the cool colour. The hills will be the warm tonal value, the warm colour, hot and cold colours. Alright, just stand back and have a look at that, see if we've got the balance. That's good. Just needs a little bit more to level her up. Alright, now clean that off. Look at that one. Clean that colour off the knife. That's the bonus of knives. You don't get a whole lot of muddy brushes and you don't have to get any terps and clean your brush and whatever else. You've just got, you just wipe it clean. Alright, now that's magenta and white. That is a beautiful colour. I think you'll agree with that. A bit more magenta, a bit more white, I'll just mix up a bit more. Okay, now I'll just put this up against this painting and have a look. Not bad. I would have added more white, but because I'm comparing it to that painting, and I'm trying to actually copy that painting, I can see that no, I don't add any more white. That's the bonus of having your plein air studies. You can really see the colours when you're out there. When you're in the studio, you're copying a photo or whatever, it's a lot harder to judge the colours, but when you're out there in nature, colours are right there. So if you can mix them, put them down, you're right. And then when you bring them home to the studio, you can easily match them. Alrighty. So I'll put that in. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful colour. That is what a fantastic colour magenta is. Just a sensationally romanticised colour, I would imagine. Now, I'm not quite touching the blue yet, but I will get there. Just pull that blue into it a little bit now. Bringing those belts of Venus together. They're starting to come together a little. Just eliminating the white. In the original painting, I painted on clear prime Belgian linen, so it looked like it was a raw colour. The Belgian linen itself, but it had a primer on it. This one I'm doing on the white. Doesn't really matter, either way is fine. Alright, next level. Just get a piece of towel. Okay, next level will be, I'll get some burnt sienna. Beautiful blob of burnt sienna. And white. Bit more burnt sienna in that one by the looks of it. Look at that. Just like a big chunk of chocolate. Chocolate ice cream. Right. Now I'll just match that on the painting again. Yes. About it, I reckon. Alright, we'll put that in. Oh, hang on. Might just put the tiniest bit more white. Tiniest bit more white. There we go, let's have what we've got now. Mix that in. Put that across. Belt of Venus is starting to form, as you can see. If you study on a really clear atmospheric day, when you've got no clouds obviously, but also when you've got a really clean light, so there's not much moisture in the air, you'll get that really clean belt of Venus effect right on dawn, right on sunrise and right on sunset. And just study and you'll see that it's got these colours, these are the colours it's got. So we're working with that today. Pull that in together. It's coming together nicely. Now, I'll keep mixing later. I'll just stand back for a minute and get ready for the next colour, and I'll put these in the bin. Alright, now I'll start with the sky today. I could have started with any colour, doesn't really matter. Quite often I start with the darks. In here I'll put the darks in next once I've finished doing this sky stuff. Normally if I had nothing to judge it by, the right colour, I'd probably start with the darks first, and then I can, judge the lights against darks, but because I'm judging my colour against a plein air painting, I can do it that way. I just don't really need the dark straight up first. Every time you put a colour down, something next to it will make it look different. So at the moment I've got white here, which is making that look quite dark. But if that was a dark tone already, that would actually look a very light tonal value. So your eyes get tricked, and that's why I like to cover the whole thing all at once as quickly as I can. and then analyse all the colours as a whole, not just separate. Don't finish one thing and leave a big block of white, because by the time you finish that white, paint over that white, all of a sudden the other thing that you painted earlier looks the wrong colour and tone, because you've got to get it all together, everything's a whole. Now I'm painting yellow ochre, and obviously white again, titanium white. I'll be using a fair bit of yellow ochre in this, and a fair bit of white. Plenty of juicy paint. Look at that. Really juicy, beautiful paint. Now let me just analyse this like I was saying, compare it. Straight away, even though that looks right to me, I can see that I need more yellow ochre in it when I compare it to that Plein Air study. Right. A little bit more. Certainly going through the yellow ochre. That's a lovely blue. Close on, let's have a look. Yeah, all right. That can go on. Let's throw that one on. Put plenty of that one on, because there will be plenty of that colour. Plenty of the yellow ochre. Stick a bit more of it down here. Just stand back for a minute and have a look what I got. Alright. Get those edges lovely. Now what I'm going to do is a lovely pale green. You also get a pale green in the sky. I'll try a little bit of viridian green with that. Maybe a bit of that sky blue thrown in. Sky blue, yeah, and viridian green. I used viridian green in the original study, I can see. So I'm mixing up this beautiful type of pale green sky colour. Plenty of yellow ochre. And viridian green, like I was saying. And there's a little bit of that cobalt blue and white that I was using earlier. I threw that a bit in for good luck. Right, it looks right, but it needs a little bit more. Maybe a little bit more blue and green. Let me just have a look here. It's close. Put that in. A little bit more green with that. Quickly mix that up. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. You see the knife good for putting plenty of paint on. Quick. If you don't want to do a thin terpsy washing and you just want to get stuck into it, the knife is fantastic for just ploughing it on. It's like plastering a wall. Just getting those edges nice and neat. There we go. I'll start pulling these colours together. Bring that green down. And that yellow ochre obviously going up. Just stand back and see if I've got them right before I start blend, blend, blend. Alright, I'll start blending. And here I'm getting a little bit of rain on the old tin roof. Don't know if you can hear that or not. There's a little bit of rain outside. I'm just pulling all these colours together so you get a soft blend. I could use a brush for this, and a brush could be quicker now actually at this stage. Brush will just slap it all together. I might get a brush out, but I can also do it this way. A knife has a special sort of look about it when you do it with a knife. Brush has a different look. It's just your personal preference, I guess, as to what you prefer, the look you prefer. In some ways I like just a knife because to use just a knife because it's kind of my style, I guess. What was that? Got the dog outside barking, and got the chooks next door, it's all happening. Chooks are just in the shed. Well, they're not in the shed, they're in the chook yard just behind me here, so you may hear a chook noise every now and then. Don't be surprised. Right, we'll just pull this through. So that belt of Venus is starting to form now, you can really see that. Beautiful atmospheric colours all blending and harmonising together. Bring that magenta down closer to the hill itself. Just coming along nicely, blending beautifully. Get all these little broken colours when you use this technique with a knife. These little blues and magentas are all flacking around all next to each other, which is great, as you can imagine. Wipe that knife clean. Changing that technique a bit now and pulling up. Just getting the knife like that with a clean knife, wiping it clean and pulling up each time like that. Just get another piece of paper towel. Pulling that blue up nicely, oops, pulling that blue up through a little. Still got the blue down here on the palette, so I can add a bit more. Just adding a bit of blue where I feel it's necessary. Bit of a breeze kicking around too, I've got the door open. Just in a shed here, so it's great lighting here. I've got the skylights. Absolutely fantastic lighting. It's very much like being outdoors plein air. It's like the natural light, and I prefer to paint in natural light if I can. I just keep pulling these colours together here and there. Get that yellow ochre and green more, not so much of a hard, insistent line. It's more of a subtle change, so you can't really tell where one starts and one stops. And that's what it's like when you're looking into the atmosphere at that time of day. It's just a subtle gradient. Beautiful stuff. It's all coming together softly, blending it all subtly. You can actually keep on going and get this incredibly smooth and subtle with a knife if you want it. Just depends how much time you want to put into that. I started off with up and down marks like this. Now I'm kind of going crisscross this way to help pull the two together. We're starting to blend them all very subtly now. There's a good subtle gradient starting to appear in the belts of Venus. Beautiful stuff, just subtle, subtle. Soft and subtle. As you can see, just take that little bit of stuff off. As you can see, you can get a very subtle effect with a knife if you want. You can make it almost like super realism, or you can make it real contrasting and chunky. I just love using the palette knife. Beautiful, beautiful instrument. Beautiful instrument. There we go, nice and soft. Nice and soft, beautiful. It's really blending now. Just stand back and have a look. Alright, it's really got that belt of Venus effect happening. Now what I might do is I'll just change track really quickly and go from Viridian green here to alizarin crimson, a beautiful red. Just establish some of these darkest darks where I want them. So with the red and the green opposite on the colour wheel, they really jump and pop. Once you put them together, they go into a dark, but they're half mixed. You get that blend of the bow. That's a nice thing. Just put a few darks in here and there, not too many. Like a bit of yellow ochre now with that Viridian green. Bit more yellow ochre, what do we got? Bit of burnt sienna with that. So burnt sienna, yellow ochre, Viridian green. It's just a little bit of a creek, dry creek chuffing down here through here, so just going to add those colours. Greens and whatever here. I'm getting a bit of that sky blue now, a bit of yellow ochre and sky blue. It's creating that kind of saltbush colour, which is a nice colour. Just stand back for a minute. Right, it's kind of working. Now, what are we going to do? Paint some more of these foreground colours. This road's very white. Let's block in some of these colours and tones. Yeah, right. Yep. I can actually use some of the colours of the sky. This is a white road, you've got to realise. So by using some of the colours of the sky, you get in the reflection of the sky. In the white road. All right. So you can see, like I'm saying, it's all the sky colours blended in to make a uniform, or half mixed uniform type thing. Right, now what are we going to do? Burnt sienna, magenta, white, a bit of that sky blue, throw it all in. I'm just trying to get a neutralised earthy sort of colour. Can all go in the works. Bit of that sky blue and sienna. What do we got here? Yeah, just trying to paint the colour of the earth itself. Okay, a little bit more burnt sienna, magenta, a bit more rocky colour, deeper chocolatey type of colour. Yeah. Bit of that in here. Beautiful deep colour and tonal value there. There we go. It's all happening. It's all happening. More burnt sienna, magenta and blue. Let's go a little bit more of that cobalt blue with that burnt sienna. I'm just trying to key it down a bit now so your eyes don't get attracted to it. It's a little bit darker and a little bit greyer, so your eyes don't get sidetracked by this corner. You just want this corner to be fairly neutral. Random marks. A few marks in here and there. Righty. You just stand back from it, see what I got. It's kind of working. Let's go for some magentas, browns, chocolate browns and magentas. Stick a few of those chocolate browns up here. Where are we? Stick that in there. Bit of a lighter version here. So you've got a fair bit of sky blue in that as well. Sticking all this in. Building a bit of shape into the hills, bit of light and shadow and contours. Bit of chocolate brown there. Burnt siennas, red browns, magentas, just trying to get those dark chocolatey colours that I've been talking about. Mainly burnt sienna and magenta. A little bit of blue thrown in. Getting it all blended. What have we got here? A little bit of those sky colours, and it's going to flicker. Bit of a lighter tonal value through here. Gives me some of those pale sky colours from earlier on. Right. An economical use of paint if you can use those previous colours, and also it harmonises better because the painting's the same mix all the way through basically. Let me just stand back and have a look. All right, that's looking pretty good. Now, let's get those hills in, eh? Just make sure we're recording first. Very good, we are. Right, a little bit of titanium white. Some of that cad orange, beautiful cad orange. Making a nice colour there. Before I go any further, I'll wipe that knife clean, and what I'm going to do is get magenta and white also. Mix up a nice magenta colour. Hang on. Just going to get a little bit more magenta on using these cartridges today. Again, they're good. Hold plenty of paint. Art Spectrum is the brand. Right, bit of magenta. There we go. Get a little bit of that with the white. Mix her up. Get the right blend. Now let me just see, I'll analyse the colours next to each other again. Just a tiny bit more magenta, not much. Alright, now I'm just going to lay a bit of that on. Here and there. A little bit more magenta. Nice stuff. A bit more white with that magenta in this area. Alright. Lovely colour, lovely colour. Now I'm going to get a little bit of that cad orange still on the knife. Throw it in with it. Look at that. A bit more orange. Look at that. That is what I call amazing colour. Just smear it on, don't overwork it. Look at the light hitting that. Bit of orange, bit of magenta, a bit of both for this one. Put that on there. Put that there. Just stand back from it and have a look. This is a fairly clean knife. Just going to pull that blue down so it's touching the hill, get rid of those little white bits. So, something along those lines. Cleaning, so I'm using the wet paint from the sky and pulling it down with the knife. Wiping the knife clean each time, obviously. Okay, now that's coming along good. I'm just going to get a bit of viridian green, cobalt blue, half mix them together a bit. Make a light tonal value. I just want to put in a few shadows. Just lighten that off a bit more blue and a bit more white. Those shadows really pop. Just get a little bit of magenta in that as well. So you've got a little bit of viridian green, a little bit of magenta. Just getting those shadows going here and there. Yeah, righty. Just pop some in here, shall we? A few kicking around there. Smearing and blending, pulling through those colours in. Those beautiful pale green shadows that you get at that time of day, looking across the landscape. A bit more red and magenta. Blue, just knocking up a little bit of that darker tonal value that was here. It's gotten a little lost in there. Just going to put some of that in. Alright, that's all coming along. Pretty happy with what's going on now. Just with a very clean knife. Let's have a look. It's pure white. Cad orange deep, so it's a deeper, sorry, cad yellow deep, so it's a little bit of an orange yellow. I just, right. Add a little bit more yellow to that. Obviously we're putting a bit of a moon in. Right, keep working around. Make some more of these shadows, maybe get a bit of the viridian green again. Cobalt blue, white, just knock up some pale shadows. What are we going to do here? Just a few, not too many. Just to give the feeling of contours on this hill, this beautiful lit up hill. Just give the feeling and illusion of a little bit of detail here and there. Hang on, hang on, hang on. Good. There we go, a little bit of light and shadow, just kick it in. Right. It's all coming together now. Just get the knife on edge, a little bit of green, magentas, whatever. Just going to suggest a couple of little branches here and there. In the shadows, just, you know, a few trees here and there just kicking around. Right. Just putting a few more trees and whatever into the distance, a bit more detail here and there. Wipe that clean. Alright, well, I reckon that'll be about it, eh? We probably should leave it at that. We've got the big impression, that's for sure. Very much identical to the little plein air study and all the colours, which is fantastic, as you know. So like I said, being a good lighting environment, like this studio is particularly good natural lighting environment. And then, once you've painted your plein air in nature, your little one, it's so easy to match the colours if you're back in a similar sort of lighting that you did the painting on. Now, just getting to the painting itself, I'm really happy. I'll introduce the moon because I've seen moon rises over that range and it's beautiful. I thought I'm going to throw that in. And beautiful. I took the knife to extreme there. I kept blending, like I could have left it more chunky style, but I thought no, sky has, because the painting's about the belts of Venus and that subtle blend between all the colours as it goes up into the atmosphere, I thought I'd keep on blending and just get it perfectly soft and not use a brush, just use a knife to show that I can get it absolutely soft with just a knife alone. Happy about that. Like I said, use those colours. This road's a light tone road, a very white road, white gravel. So by using all the reflection of the sky, using the sky mix itself in there, it really has got beautiful subtle colours. I'll blend them all together so you've got magentas and greens and whatever else. Then these dark reds really contrast all the cool greens in the foreground shadows and the greens on the hill here. And of course, bang, the big orange against the blue, the belt of Venus blue, shadow of the earth with the orange just glowing on it. Moon. Pretty happy with it on the whole now, so what I reckon I'll do is I'll get the camera off, I'll come in real close and have a nice slow buzz around and check out the colours and the technique. Alright, thank you.